My homosexuals, come sit down with me for a second. I got some stuff to talk about. I have been in my head for the past hour thinking about what to do about my knee. I know it's a broken record at this point, but I gotta express myself. You know, it's been a long back and forth journey. It's been, I think, over 2 months now at least since it got officially injured. And, you know, there are times where you fight something for so long and then you just get to a point where you're just like, man, what is supposed to work? You know, I'm staying consistent. I'm staying disciplined. I'm staying passionate as always, trying to love it as best I can. But, you know, your patience can be tested sometimes, you know. I hope you're doing well today. Seriously. But, you know, this is just one of those days where I'm just a little bit more down to earth. You know, it's a little bit more in my head than I'd want to. It's just, you know, the Olympic lifts have been good, as always. Like, it's not heavy enough and it's explosive enough, I suppose, to where it doesn't hurt my knee. I can't really explain why. But just it only ever hurts when I isolate it on the squat, on any squat, overhead, front, back, whatever. It's been consistent like that. There have been days, as you've seen if you've been watching for the past couple months, where it has worked with me and I have been able to squat well, but only very few rare occasions. You know, I know my strength is still there because I can whenever they're on those rare days happen, I can easily put up weight that I was putting up before in more difficult ways. You know, like when I did the 3-part pause for 365 or just like a super slow controlled pause on a 405 back squat. I'm trying to really figure it out. The only common denominators that I really see are, one, I have pause squatted every time I've felt better. I recovered the best when I pause squatted. Those were the weeks where I was able to come back and really go heavy and go a little crazy were when I was hitting some nice, deep, controlled pause reps. Really controlling and getting that full drive. Now, there's a second theory to this. There's another thought process I have that I really don't want to admit, but it might be true. So, I have always been under the idea that if you injure something, you don't want to go heavy on it, of course. But I always thought that it'd be like a good idea to continue doing those lifts if your body will allow you to, just to the lightest extent that you're capable of. You know, when I first injured my knee, I was only back squatting like 185, maybe 225 at the most for like slow reps that I couldn't really control well. And although I have had great progress with this in the past, just working my way back up from ground zero, doing my best to get where my strength used to be, I'm realizing now that this is not a strength issue anymore. It's solely just a matter of letting my knee tendon heal. That is it. You know, I wish it was a strength issue now. I used to think so much differently about wondering, oh man, I just want to get back on the weights. I just want to lift heavy and go crazy again. And I now look back and I am so lucky. I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful that all I have to complain about in life right now is the fact that my squat feels weird. You know, we kind of forget sometimes when you get so passionate about something that you care about so deeply, which is not a bad thing, by the way, but you kind of forget sometimes of how good your life really is. You know, I'm always expressing it, and I know it. I love my life to the highest extent. But when I feel down like this on these kinds of days, I got to remind myself, man, I have so much to live for and so much to love. If the thing that I'm the most worried about every day is how bad does my squat feel? Like, what a miracle it is that I don't have all these crazy, traumatic, worrisome things in my life like most people do, especially around my age. You know, most people have awful mental health when they're starting to leave home and go off to college and try to figure their life out, especially when they're graduating college, especially nowadays. But regardless, I want to be able to put in the time and effort into these thoughts without dismissing them just because they're not as high priority as other things may be in other people's lives. You know, I always say you can't compare yourself to other people. You know, you got to deal with life with the plate that you're dished out, no matter what. And right now, if this is what I gotta worry about to keep loving life to the highest extent, even more than I am now, then that's what I'm gonna do. You know, it's you gotta live life a bit selfishly in that way, not in the fact of doing whatever the hell you want, regardless of other people, just so that you can, you know, have the world that you want. You know, you can't just like disregard people in my eyes. You know, as long as you're doing whatever you want to do and it only affects you, then yeah, take your life into your own hands. You know, do whatever you feel will make you the happiest and most productive, positive, progressive person you can be. You know? And I think having great relationships is one of the best key parts of that kind of lifestyle, personally. But anyway, let me not get off track. I just physically, you know, the snatches felt all right. It wasn't bad at all. I wasn't feeling as locked in, I guess. But honestly, they were pretty goddamn good. I think I'm just thinking poorly of it now because the squats felt so weird. They didn't even feel horrible. It's just the fact that I can feel my knee not feeling good is the thing that I hate. You know, it's that constant deja vu of just, oh, there we go. Now we got to bring it back down to step one again and see where we can work up from. And it can be disappointing and dissuading of my current goals, you know? So I'll give it a 6.4, you know? Again, it's just the squats, honestly. Olympic lifting has not been an issue. You've seen it. I powered 315 on clean and jerk, which was nuts. And I look at these things and I'm just like, what is the common denominator? And I genuinely think that it's just the fact that I haven't stopped squatting once. Now, this may seem like a no-brainer, like, whatever. It's not that big a deal. But god damn it, dude. It's one of the things that I love, you know? I genuinely want to keep doing them because I love them that much. But when it comes to a tendon issue, you can't treat it like just a pulled muscle, you know, where you can just like work with the bar and bench or squat from there and just work your way up week by week until you can do heavyweight again. It's not like that. You know, this is a very deep issue and I don't want to be the reason it becomes chronic. That's what I'm worried about the most, that regardless of my passion and my wants to do the best that I can do, that at some point I become the reason that I get hurt more and start losing that passion I once had. I never wanted to be that kind of case. So, mentally, I'll give it a 7.35. You know, it's all right. Genuinely. I have high hopes. I am always going to work my best and do my best for the sake of my own and for the sake of my passions, my purpose in life. But it's okay to not be okay sometimes. You know, you gotta really embrace that kind of thing so that you can move on and think of what can we do to better ourselves right now. Because it is not the things that we go through that are important, but it's how we pick ourselves up afterward. You know, I can't just sit here and play the victim all day long and complain about my knee week after week. I got to continue looking at the bare bones of it all, seeing what truly works best with me, and going from there. It's as simple as that. So, that being said, although I cherish squats with my fucking life, I genuinely love them. It's become one of my favorite lifts because of how much progress I've made in them in the past couple of years. Like, you guys should have seen when I had no mobility, man. It was ridiculous. And it is insane to me how much progress I've made without any belt or knee sleeves, you know? But I think it might be time to take squats off the program for just a little bit. You know, it's again, it seems so stupid, but I'm lucky and blessed enough to have such a cool life where I can just sit here and be like, yeah, you know, I'm going to be devastated because I can't fucking squat. And I know that it's the first time half of you have probably ever heard that shit, but I love it. I genuinely do. I want to continue being the best version of myself, and that includes a squat. But either way, I'm not too sure what is going to happen, but I got to keep putting my best foot forward. That's what's important. A guy walked up to me while I was leaving the gym. It was so ironic. I can't even fucking explain it to you. But I'm walking out all dejected, pissed at myself, trying to figure out what's wrong. Stared at my phone for at least an hour, just looking back at my past workouts, trying to figure out what the common denominator was. And this random guy walks in and hands me a sheet of paper. He's just like, hey, man, I just like handed these out. You know, I hope you have a blessed day. And I'm like, all right, whatever, sure. Why not? Get to my car, and it's just this guy's life fucking story on a piece of paper. And it's inspiring, you know? When you see stuff like abuse and alcohol and all this other horrible shit that people go through, drugs, whatever you want to call it, it's something different to see how someone can struggle so much and then come out being such a happy person on the end. And I genuinely, that's what I live to be. You know, I've been through my shit, I promise you that, but I don't let that hold me down. I want to move it on in life without having that be the center of my personality. And so when I see that, and I see that positivity, I'm like, God damn, I'm so glad that all I gotta do is complain about my squats on my day-to-day. I can still lift. I'm still doing what I love. I'm still progressing in life, looking for these jobs, doing new cool things, gonna go back to school sooner than later. There's a lot to be grateful for and a lot to live for. And on top of all that, I love the people I'm around. You know, my girlfriend, my best friend, my gym homies, everybody. I love my people. They keep me going. They keep me loving life. So I'm going to be glad and appreciative of this injury because it is going to be the reason I'm the best version of me when I get through it. I promise you that, because that's the effort I'm willing to put in every single goddamn day. So, you know, tomorrow is a bench day anyway, so it doesn't really apply, but I'm going to be doing clean and jerk and bench tomorrow. We'll feel that out. Otherwise, I might, very big might, you know, if my knee feels fine, we're chilling. But I might, if it still feels bad, I'll take an extra rest day after tomorrow's workout. And then when I come back, it's just going to be Olympic lifting, benching like normal, but every single squat variation, it's either going to be very light pauses or it's going to be knee isolation exercises like the single leg pistol squats I've been doing. But to be fair, let's think about it in a different way. What is the best possible future I can imagine for myself? And where my knee truly feels at its best. And I gotta try everything. To say that I've tried everything is ignorant. You know, there's always more that you could be doing. If you are sitting there thinking that you've done everything, I promise you haven't. The world's too big. You know, the world is too big. There have been too many experiences, too many perspectives to say that you have done everything. I promise you that. So, let's start off with trying both. Because I've had good progress with both of those things. You know, I've taken several days off, and while I wasn't doing any sort of lifting, I was just stretching. Those are the only times in my training where I did no squatting. And every time I came back, I felt pretty good. So, I'm going to do a mixture. We're going to do a mixture of the Olympic lifts and the bench. Those can stay relatively the same. I might even try to go a little bit heavier just to get my bearings with it, because we've seen that those are the things that I can handle going heavier on. I don't know what it is with the Olympic lifts that doesn't hurt my knee, whether the explosiveness, whatever it is, the absolute efficiency of that kind of a lift. You know, maybe less isolation in the knee than I think, more on the core. But we're going to run it. We're going to do our best. And I'm just going to do very, very, very light, minimal squatting. Only pause reps. Only pause reps, for sure. And then I'll continue doing the knee strengthening exercises. Not too many, because I made the mistake of doing too many, especially too many knees over toes exercises, because that really strained me in a negative way. So I'll just do what my body can handle, just chill out a little bit, and really try to let my knee rest. You know, it's a long road. It's a journey. I've actually labeled in my phone that these past couple months is the journey to 100%. Because that is my main goal. That is all I'm thinking about. So I'm going to keep doing better. I'm going to progress. I'm inspired now. You know, I'm doing good. These are great steps to make. This is why I love talking to you guys. You guys give me a bit of security, and it's a great outlet for me to be able to outwardly get this negative shit out. You know, everybody needs this kind of therapy in their life. So I'll be back. We're going to keep doing our best, keep loving life as we do. You know how it is. So I appreciate you guys sticking around either way. You know, let me know how the lifts and the lives have been going. Love hearing about it. And just keep loving your body and keep loving the life that you got, man. We're lucky fucking creatures to be on this earth, especially with how rare actual consciousness is. So let's just keep running it the best that we can for our own individual selfishness. You know, as long as we're just loving our people, living life the way we want to do it, keep it fucking going. Keep loving yourself and loving the life that you lead. So, wish me luck, and I love you guys. I'll be back. See ya.